Yo, what's going on everybody? needforbeans over here. In this video, I'll go over the best Call of Duty Vanguard settings. In my opinion, they'll give you the best balance between quality and performance. With these settings, you're going to get about a 170, 180, maybe 200 FPS if you're not streaming and not recording your content. In my case right now, I am recording, but usually I have instant replay turned on, as well as my stream going OBS. So it definitely takes a toll on your game and your frame rate. But with these settings, I'm getting about 200 FPS, a little under 200 when I'm not streaming and not recording. So let's go over this. Display mode, that's the first thing that comes to question. A lot of people set this to full screen. In my opinion, full screen borderless is better, not only because you're able to alt-tab in and out of applications, but also because there's no such thing as full screen exclusive in DX12, but they do have such a thing as full screen borderless optimized on Windows. So in my opinion, if you're not really sure which one to choose, I would suggest trying full screen borderless. And if you're not seeing a big decrease in performance, then keep it on full screen borderless. In my opinion, this setting gives you less input lag and just better user experience overall. Now, sync every frame, VSync is off. The monitor, that's just default. Frame rate limit, in my opinion, you can max it out. I put it on 250 because my frames don't even really reach 250. I have a 240 Hz monitor, so 250 is more than enough. Menu and minimize game frame rates, we just leave that on default. Nvidia reflex low latency, I suggest you guys turn that off. If you guys have a lower NPC or maybe a laptop, you can try playing with this. But if you have a good solid system, turn that off. It hasn't really benefited me in any way. The low latency, I haven't really seen it, so I like to just disable anything that doesn't give me a big increase in performance or FPS. Brightness, display gamma, focus mode off, opacity, this is all pretty much default. Display adapter, that's just the graphics card. On-demand texture streaming, now we do have that turned off with no download limits. The reason why we have this is we want to optimize everything except our textures. Because we have an RTX 2070, that's a relatively recent card, so there's no problem streaming textures. That's not the issue. The issue is all the times the shadows, the tessellations, there are a lot of other things that come into play besides textures. So I like to max out my textures. On-demand texture streaming is going to be on without download limits. All right, let's go to quality. For the quality presets, we have render resolution 100, VRAM usage target 90%, which is the highest. Texture resolution, as you see here, we have it set at the highest because we don't want to see these blurry textures. It's not 1999, it's 2021. So we want high quality textures, but we don't need any extra effects. So textures, anisotropic filtering low, particle quality level low, resolution low, impact sprays off, tessellation off, level of detail low. Everything is on low. Now shadow map resolution as well off, low, off. Everything on low is here because these are shadows on lightning. So we just want to turn that all off. Anti-aliasing, SMA 2X or filmic strength doesn't matter because what you actually want to do before I forget is go to your Nvidia control panel, go to program settings, go ahead and add Call of Duty Vanguard, should be added already. Scroll down to anti-aliasing mode and turn it off. Not application control, not enhance, not override, but off. What this will do is this will override this setting right here and will actually turn off anti-aliasing completely. But turning off anti-aliasing, you're going to gain about 10 or 20 FPS at least. And you're going to actually get rid of a lot of the input lag. So I highly recommend that setting right there. For the gameplay, field of view 120, all the blur, well, world motion blur and weapon motion blur off. Alright guys, so I did forget to include the Nvidia control panel settings in the video. So let me just go ahead and scroll through these. I use the default global settings. Pretty much everything is set to off except for texture quality is going to be high quality and negative LOD bias is going to be set to allow. Shader cache is also going to be set to on. Now these settings are all pretty default. You could go further to optimize this. For example, you could turn off anisotropic filtering, but really in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to get you any crazy FPS boost. So I still like to have some sort of balance between quality and performance. So that's why I highly recommend these settings. These are the settings that give you a good quality so you can still record clips and still have good performance where your input lag is pretty negligible, so your aim is pretty good. So these are the settings that I use for Call of Duty Vanguard, and personally, I've been really enjoying these settings. This game is pretty well optimized compared to Warzone and Cold War. I want to say Cold War is a little better optimized. I still get higher FPS in Cold War, but this game feels really good. I highly recommend you guys try out the beta. It feels like a modern version of Cold War that, I mean, has a really good crispy feel to it. The gunplay is pretty good, and the maps are also look pretty good. So these are the settings that I was using, and I personally really enjoyed the game. Let me know what you guys think of a beta. If you guys have any questions or comments about the settings, please leave a comment below. I will make sure to get back to you. Thank you guys all for watching. Needforbeans out. Peace.